This will be a presentation video on how to set up your PowerPoint and some ideas for setting it up. So all I've done is opened up PowerPoint. I haven't picked anything yet. So we're going to go new. There's a bunch of different presentation styles here. A lot of them are really busy, or the colors are a bit odd. You can change the colors, which I'll show you briefly how to do that. Could pick any of them really. This one. So create, turns out that's a lot of purple, so I don't really like that. Just go to design, you can pick a tab. Let's say you don't really like that, you can go to variants. So there's a bunch of different pre-existing variants. So like this one already has kind of the black background. I quite like black. So there's more, you can change the colors. So like if your company is a different color company, you can switch it to that. Kind of basic stuff. Let's just go blue. So how about design? What are some other things we want to do? This background styles, black, make it pop. See what the word text is. So design. The one reason why I kind of like having black backgrounds is when I worked in health and safety, I found that you never knew where you're going to give your presentation. So it could be on a whiteboard, and if you have too much white background, it'll show up. It's hard to read really. So we can do this, flip it to white text, and then we'll see if that transfers through. So I'm just going to do a fake presentation on respirators. So some other things. So let's put a graphic on. Simon says you need graphics. So this is a trick you can do is go to snipping tool or snip editor. So this is one way of taking pictures of stuff. So just gonna slide this over. Good idea too, like what kind of respirators are your company uses. Like if you use North brand, you want photos in North brand. If you use 3M, you want pictures of 3M stuff, so you actually know what people are using. I found as much content from the floor as I could get. I'd often ask workers for their photos and stuff, and then that's what I would use. So copy image is one way of doing it. The one problem is of copying images is you don't actually know how big the file is. So that's one reason why I like using the snipping tool. So again, I just go in the search bar, find snipping tool, new, take a snip of this. No, that's not good. It's got black line. So just snip. So respirator 1, where is it saving? On the desktop, that's fine. As we'll see how messy my desktop is here in a second. That's another thing is we're giving presentations and it's your work laptop you're using. Try and have a clean desktop. That's kind of reflects poorly on you. So you kind of got our first slide here. Insert, new slide. Again, that's it's got red text underneath. It means the word is misspelled. So you probably want to fix that. So one thing I did wrong in setting this up is I wanted white text in the font and I didn't do that. So I'll have to fix that because I don't want to do that for every slide. So respirator use, I just want to use have a quick graphic for that. If you aren't familiar with the safety organization, the CCOHS has a lot of documents on that. So, so I just want a graphic right now. So I'm going to rip through. There's a picture I want. So wearing a respirator. So this is a graphic. So again, if your thing is not open, snipping tool, new. Just kind of get rid of that. File, save as, respirator 2. Slide this over. You can format it to whatever size you want. If it's a prominent graphic, you probably want it bigger. Right? So don't want it too distorted. So, and then where did I get this? I didn't make this image. So insert text box, and then bracket CCOHS, comma, 2017. We'll just make sure that's the right year for that. So I'll scroll down. Yeah, so this was authored 2017. So kind of as you're making your presentation too, another thing we should be thinking about is where did we get this stuff? So this is where I got that. So we'll just go new slide, and then so references. First thing to do, get rid of the bullet, or that messes up the hanging for it. So let's go back to this website. I'm gonna copy it. Actually, try doing this different. So who's the author of this article is the Canadian Center for Occupational Health and Safety. Copy. And then we said period at the end of this, bracket, 2017, bracket, period. So again, font, so you can see it, white, okay. Now we want the title of the document, of the website, which is kind of a trick we can do is copy, go into here, and then we can copy it as destination theme. So boop. And then we're going to edit this. So I'm going to remove hyperlink. So it's just text. And then put period. For APA style, you want to have lowercase after the first word. So respirator, this, and then you italicize this. So again, I just went to the home, and then there's the font option here. And then so this does not need to be italicized because it's not the title. And then what I want to do is copy paste the URL. So just keep plain text only, and then there you go. The next thing we need is it to hang. So the 2 lines below it, we want to have it hanging. So text before 0.5 centimeters, and then hanging 0.5 centimeters. Okay. And then you see it's over a bit, and then that's that. So the next thing we'll talk about is a regulation. So I'll just put a new slide in here, and so again, want the same font. I should have done that at the start, but I don't really want to go back into that because, well, so we'll go into the regulations. So you can download the regulations onto your desktop. That's what I do, because especially if you're in the safety program, you're going to use it all the time. So again, Control F is how we do a search. Control F. So Control is the CTRL button on the bottom left. So, and then just F, respirator. So there's, in the regulations, respirators are mentioned 56 times, but we know that personal protective equipment, it's part 7, section 7-3 is the part where it really talks about it. So if you take a look, every time there's a reference to it in the document, it'll be a red line. So where there's tons of red lines, that's where it is. So this kind of answers when a respirator is required. So this is actually going to be most of my presentation. So I'm going to break this down into each slide being a different point. Just copying this text, going in here. So this is horrible. Like, imagine being in the back of a room and there's all this text. It really is hard to read. So that's why we want to break it down. I'm going to scrap all of this, and then I'm going to paraphrase it just to this point, because we're talking about what the worker will do, not what the employer has to do. So I'm going to just put this in here, regulation 7-3, 7-3 bracket 1, so point 1 in that, next to bracket there. So this is when if a worker is exposed to dust, fumes, mist, aerosol, vapor, it's required. And then, so this is the regulation. This is what we're referencing. So where do we get the reference for the regulation? And this is not cool because I'm just going to remove the hyperlink there so it's all the same color. Let's go into in all of the safety courses, which includes the fatigue course, there's table of contents, students read me first, required assignment formatting. So there's two. There is the new course formatting guide and then formatting template. So this actually shows you, if you're writing a Word document, exactly how to do it. This also shows how to do the references for a Word document. So the other format is here. And this actually on page 3 has how to do the regulations. There's a typo in this though, so we'll fix that. So we're going to copy that. So the government of Saskatchewan is G, where this is C. So that's in the right order. This needs to be italicized because it's the title. There's a space missing there, and then period there. So it seems complicated, but really it's the title, the year it was published. If you're wondering why there's 2 years in this one document, because this is the year that it was in the title. So this document was actually written in 2020, but it was published in 2021. So that's kind of that. C and G, or so C is before G, so that's good, and then that's how we reference the regulations. So let's do one more. So usually that's what people get confused on. So so let's pretend it's a welding shop. Could be a baker or anything, right? We could do that. So I don't want to do that. So 3M's are a reputable reference because they sell a lot of welding equipment. It's usually who I've dealt with. So they have supplied air systems, a bunch of other things. Kind of drawing a blank on what to put next. So Miller is another company that offers this. So what kind of respirator should we use for welding? Right? That'd be a good thing to train people on. So we could paraphrase this in our own words. Right. It's really going to annoy me, but I'm not going to go back and change it now. So we can see it. So these aren't my words, right? So I have to reference it. So respirator, a mass, filter welding fumes, and particulates from there. Maybe your audience doesn't know what fumes are either, so it would be a good idea to maybe define what a fume is. Right? That would be a good thing to explain because people don't know. So we want to rewrite this. So And I would want to go through and explain what the different models of respirators are. When again, because people might not know. You can't assume people know, even if they are welders. They might not have seen them before, know the costs. So our company uses half-mass supplies for half-mass respirators, powered supplied, and supplied. So we do not do that at our company. So we want to modify it to actually indicate what we have. The text is really small. So do we want to reference the Miller website? Probably actually might not even need to reference this that much because this is kind of like actually what's going on. So that's probably a bad example, but we should maybe reference what the fumes are. So let's go back. Just go into, I should really change the sentence so it's even different. So it's a gas, smoke, or vapor. And let's just use, I don't want to use a free dictionary. So sounds pretty good to me, right? Like WorkSafe BC says exactly what fumes are. They're these things, right? So we'll go into here. So you want the same. Again, removing the hyperlinks. If you don't remove the hyperlinks, it shows that like you just copy paste it, even though I did copy paste it. But because it's a list, I'm not going to rewrite it. So what did I do? Safe BC. Where did I get this? And like this is not perfect. I'm trying to do this really quickly for an example. Sorry, lost it. WorkSafe BC is really good. Movies and guides. So that's kind of a good example to use. So WorkSafe BC, welding fume exposure. And what year was this written? Does it say? We don't have a year on it. So we'll have to use ND on this. Right, because we don't know the year. So go down here. So again, who is the author of this? So I know it's WorkSafe BC, brackets, and because I don't know the date it was made. The title. Let's go back. So welding fume exposure. So again, we have to go back, italicize this, and then what else do we need? Oh, URL. So we'll go back here. So it seems complicated, but you get a flow going on. It's pretty quick, actually. And I'm trying to think of the next step at the same time. So I beef that up because I should have used text only. So when I do it, I should go keep text only, right? And then PowerPoint's smart enough that it copied the URL formatting from above. Now we have C, G, W, so it's in alphabetical order. So the references are correct for that. And then, yeah, we've done a couple of slides. So and then actually what we're supposed to do for APA style is have this double spaced. But because it's a PowerPoint presentation and we want it probably concise and not too small, or have 5 pages of references, for myself, single space is fine for the references for the PowerPoint. That's kind of the presentation. When I was editing the video, I saw there actually was a date for WorkSafe BC. So we'll go back here and just change it to 2015. And we'll go back to where it was referenced. And again, that was 2015. So we are good there. And then one thing we should have done is, so some of that stuff, because I didn't write this out from scratch, I should have done this. If it was a real job PowerPoint, I would be writing a lot of the stuff out from memory, but I'm just trying to show as much stuff as I can. So again, if we go to the Miller one, so CGW, so the Miller website would go in the middle. I'm not going to do that today just because I've already shown a bunch of examples. That is kind of a basic PowerPoint. Like, so a lot of this slides like this, we should add more text to it. Like, what does this mean? Like respirator use? Well, this is like actually like how to put on a respirator. We should have a slide saying what text there is. Like this is big empty gaps. So there should be something else here. Like we should list off at our company where all the places are that are required. Kind of going through. One thing I recommend people do is at the end of their PowerPoint, most smart TVs can actually do PowerPoints, or on a, if you have a projector at home, throw it up on a big screen, have an audience and go through it. And you'll feel quite embarrassed when there's mistakes on it. Obviously, when you submit it to me, there's just that. There's other things you can do with the PowerPoints as well for some of the other courses. You can insert audio per sound, so you can use record audio per slide. That works pretty well, and then you can record just the one slide if you say like I do all the time, right? And go through and delete that. You can go back in and change that, and then you can file save as this PC. You can pick the different types, so you can actually save your PowerPoint as a movie, which is required in the emergency course. So it's just kind of a heads up that you can do that. Some of the things I've done is, even after I record it as a movie, I like to export it and then watch it. Almost all computers will have a video editing software. So the one I'm using is just in Photos for PC. Apple has a video editing software as well, so you can do some basic edits if you mess something up at the end or not. There's other things you can do, like a trick. You can use Zoom even to record your presentation if you want to do it that way. The only negative thing about that, again, is that if you make a mistake, you have to almost redo the whole thing or start getting into editing and cutting out pieces. So there's some ideas. Thanks. Bye.